My button.
Good evening. I'd like to call the July 9th work session to order. Well, please rise for the pledge of
Pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone for coming. So tonight, my supervisor's report, I'd like to discuss two separate water incidents that occurred last weekend. On Wednesday, July 3rd, I was contacted by our water department head, Bobby McKeon, that the La Vista Drive water tanks, which are comprised of a 1,000,000-gallon tank and a 350,000-gallon tank, were at less than 25% capacity and were not adequately filled up the night before. He had correctly estimated that the tanks would be emptied by the Friday afternoon rush if we did not take preventative measures. So with his and the town engineer's recommendation, the town issued a conserved water notice for the area in hopes of reducing consumption enough to make it into Friday night, when the demand usually begins to decline. Although the new tank we have just installed by Old Falls was filled to the water, only a limited amount of water was getting to the Vista tanks due to what is believed to be a valve that is partially stuck in the closed position. In an effort to restore the flow, the water department personnel have been working diligently the week before to dig up and replace all of the 20 to 30-year-old valves in between the two tank sites with the hopes of finding the malfunctioning valve. Early Wednesday morning, water department personnel also discovered that a shutoff sensor for a private water tank in a bungalow colony on La Vista Drive had malfunctioned, causing the tank to overflow, wasting a significant amount of water that could be used to fill the tanks. To make matters worse, later that afternoon, water department staff also discovered a massive leak coming from a water main directly underneath a culvert that crosses 42 near Maple Street. We had an emergency crew come out early on July 4th to stop the hemorrhage of water. They turned off the valve feeding the leak, but could not make immediate repairs until they obtained the DOT's input, since it's a state road. To ensure residents located after the closed valve did not lose water service, the water department staff created a shunt bypassing the water leak by connecting two fire hydrants with the fire hose borrowed from the Fallsburg Fire Department. They were eventually able to stop the water main leak, but it was too late to adequately fill the La Vista tanks before Friday afternoon. At approximately 5 p.m. on Friday, water pressure started to decrease until the taps ran dry. Water pressure then slowly started coming back Friday night when demand dropped, and by Saturday morning, the La Vista tanks were at nearly 30% capacity and then over 50% by Sunday morning. Between the water main leak, the private water tank malfunction, and the inability to transfer water from the Old Falls tank, we had hit the trifecta of things going wrong at the same time. Additionally, on Sunday afternoon, there was a precipitous drop in water pressure in the Loch Sheldrick area. Water department personnel found a large diameter PVC pipe that had burst inside a development on 52 near Murphy Road, which is not far from the water tower. This caused all of the properties downstream of the Drake to lose pressure almost immediately. It appeared that they were able to turn off the water not long after the rupture, but it would take some time for water pressure to be restored to the properties furthest away from the water. The town board had previously passed a build at your own risk law requiring all developments to obtain a permit to connect to the water or sewer system. The permit can only be issued if the town engineer confirms there is sufficient capacity to service the development. Additionally, the board has ended the longstanding practice of granting new water and sewer district extensions until all infrastructure upgrades have been completed. So our next steps as a board will be first to develop a reasonable contingency measures to provide safe drinking water to our residents during times of emergencies like last weekend. Second, and just as vital, we need to develop and fund a preventative maintenance program that seeks to systematically replace the 80-year-old asbestos-lined water pipes that are constantly rupturing, resulting in expensive emergency repairs and frequent disruptions in service. While we are in the ground replacing the crumbling pipes, we can use that opportunity to upgrade to a larger diameter water main in order to increase our resiliency to future stressors on our precious water system. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank Bobby McKeon and the entire water department crew for their dedication to ensuring we all have safe and reliable drinking water, even on weekends, holidays, and at all hours of the night. They do their absolute best with the aging infrastructure they have inherited, and we appreciate their hard work and sacrifice. Oh, thank you. Paula, do we have any correspondence?
It's actually an announcement. Today is Supervisor Ben Simone's birthday and then Anthony Gorski's birthday. So. That was actually on by Jen.
All right. All right, so we're going to open up the public comments. Again, it's not question and answer. So if you have any questions, we do have, Bobby here tonight. If you have any questions about the water situation, you can address that when he gives his department head report. So if you do have questions, present us your questions. We'll write them down, and we promise we'll try to address them. But for the meantime, make your statements and any questions, and we'll try to address them when it's appropriate. So who's the first one to come up?
Bart Rasmussen.
Just have two items I'd like to discuss. First would be the do not enter signs over here on Trolley and Lake Street. For the one-way going down Lake Street. Seems the signs themselves are pretty obscure where new people driving are so used to driving both ways that they're pretty oblivious to seeing those signs. If you go up to Davos Point and you see the bend there, they have these huge like strobe lights on the sign itself that are probably energized by solar power. So the little spotlight that they have, that a flashlight is right around the sign here, if they put these bigger lights onto the do not enter signs, it might bring more attention to the signs. The problem is that there's the knoll in front of the apron in front of the firehouse. So when you come by the laundromat, cars that are coming up the wrong way, people that are going down the right way, it's more of a chance of having a head-on collision. So if we could do something about those signs to make them more observant. Secondly, I'd like to talk about is the rails to trails. This is the third administration I'm presenting the same problem to. The first administration, the Vigilante administration, I went and to board meetings. I asked about getting benches put along the trail and some distance markers. When people walk on the trails who have difficulty walking any kind of distance and they need to rest. For instance, when I walk with my wife and she needs to rest, there was no place to stop. She'd have to lean up against the bridge or one of the kiosks that are down on the trail. Vigilante told me that they're getting a grant, wait for a grant. My answer was, I don't know why you need a grant, buy a bench. You go to Home Depot and buy a bench. I'll buy the bench. It doesn't make a difference. There needs to be benches put out on the trails, even for the people from the Center for Discovery that need to rest. There's no place for them to sit. So there was nothing done there. So then I went to the Rappaport administration with the same problem. And somehow she must have called the wood shop at Fallsburg High School, because they made these two little benches that, thank goodness, me and my wife were thin enough to be able to sit on them. And there's two of those. So that's our point, to try to walk to that bench so we can sit there. Still no distance markers. And now I'm coming to the Ben Simone administration, asking about getting some benches put out there, distance markers so people know how far they ran, walked, rode their bike. And the third thing is, I don't know who's in charge of cutting the grass alongside the trail. But from the point where you park your car past the pickleball, that seems to be taken care of. But from that point all the way down, it's beginning to grow over the walkway. I would just like to see some benches put there so you can sit down. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Mary Ann, please.
Good evening. I have a few questions for Bob, and I'll wait for those. Okay. So I have a few questions. I think he will. I saw that he had a pipe in his hand, so he's going to talk to us about the main grade and your. Thank you for that. That was helpful. Great. I have noticed that Verizon, NICEAG, and Spectrum have all gone out in the last month, some twice. I get almost every, well, not every night, but a lot for NICEAG. So it is a question to me that this is the beginning of new, more people arriving. I'm just wondering if our grid is up to it. And we've been having Spectrum problems for a long time. And we all pay a lot for it. So I'm just wondering if you have a relationship with them and you can say it's really not up to par. That's one thing. And then in terms of water, just wanted to mention that I spoke to a young woman in Loch Sheldrake who just moved in down the street to me in the Shores development. And she's only been here a month. And she found that she broke out in a really intense rash, full body rash. And the only thing that got rid of it, actually, was when she got water filters, both in her shower, in her kitchen, and everywhere. And then she had a friend in Hurleyville who has a baby and had the same rash. So, that's going to be a question to Bobby. I know that I have heard that when there's an increased number of people and there's more quantity of water being used, the quality of water is less because there's more chemicals. So I have all filtered water. I don't experience that, but it is a concern to me. And also a friend of mine is in Woodburn, and she's not on Bud Road, but she's on one of those roads, and she's the last person on the town water. And she said she's got sand and groundwater. It's happened before. She uses it for her tub. She doesn't drink it, but I just think it's the same issue about can we manage this traffic and not traffic, but numbers of people coming. I don't feel we're prepared. We all know that. And I don't know exactly what we're waiting for. I think it might take a real emergency before people will take it seriously. I don't know, but I have some real concerns about that. So, and one other thing, the asbestos pipes in Loch Sheldrake, from what I gather, the machines that detect leaks do not go through an asbestos pipe. Asbestos, I don't know if it's wrapped or if it's in the pipe itself. So I do know that one of the options is using a dog to sniff for leaks. And I do know that this man did go to the water department, I think left his number, and also went to Sullivan County-wide something or other and gave his number. But I highly recommend it. It is a used method, and we need it for now because we have asbestos pipes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak today? Anyone online?
Nope.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and close the public portion. Let's move on to department head updates. Winnie? Sorry about the
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the final roll is done, so 2024 roll is final, and we've started on our 2025 roll. If you look at the reports, I mean, again, pretty self-explanatory. I only highlighted the parts that have gone up exponentially. Everything else, like I said, pretty self-explanatory. The current development projects, again, we have percentage of completion. These are not updated only because we've just finished 2024. So that will happen for the 2025 roll. We have added some another development in there that we now have permit issues. That's all the way down. We're now just starting that one. And just another thing, just to explain the way this form works, the amount of units are there, but just understand that there are multiple developments on this list that are not broken up yet. So the grant parcels are considered one parcel, but there may be 40 units in it, but that's not been broken up. So when you look at our parcel count, it isn't truly how many parcels we truly have at this point, because there's a few parent parcels still that have units in it that have not been broken out. So in just in case you're wondering about that. I added back in this time around the upcoming development project, but if you look there at the whole bottom of it, pretty much there hasn't been any updates on those since about 2022, 23. So if I don't see any more updates on the upcoming developments, the bottom half, we'll probably pull those up next time, because it just doesn't seem like there's any movement right now. So no sense to put them there. But as you can see, the top half is Woodbridge. So the village has got some things going on. That we've got some development there that's going to happen in the next year to 2 years, I was told. The only other thing is New York State, this is for the public. New York State is sending out letters for exemptions. Please do not ignore them. If you think it's a scam, bring them to the office. We'll look at them, we'll read them, we'll figure it out with you. It is not too late to get on the STAR credit check or the enhanced credit check for the school taxes. So if you have just purchased or you don't know if you're on it, call the office. We can give you the phone number, and you can still, New York State will still do it. And it'll be good for this September. You'll get the credit check or the enhanced credit check, depending on which one that you could get approved for. Everybody good?
Good. This is a quick question. Would you have to know off the top of your head what the final value increase was for 2024?
We put almost 22 million on the roll. Right now, I'm probably sitting right at the 20 million spot.
With what we lost, you said.
Yeah, I'm still sitting at about 20, even with that, with the one particular one we did, but we still have one more section of that one we have to look at. So maybe around 19 when we're all said and done, probably somewhere in 19 million. Okay, thank you very much. All right.
All right. Randy. Randy.
I usually like to start off with good news, but there's not too much of that anymore. So,
Randy,
yeah.
can you come up here?
Sure.
Because of
Yeah, I usually like to start off with good news, but there's not too much of that. So, I mean, with Bobby's issues with the water, I mean, we've been working, like nonstop every day, no days off. Every day you get called in for something else. And with the water issues, the more water we use, the more sewer that goes out. So you got the issues on the other end also. So I had a guy at the pump station the other day that we had issues on, turn it on and off every 5 minutes, to keep up the flow until we got a repair done. Been working with Greg from code enforcement a lot. Everybody's trying to move in now, and their facilities are not complete. The sewer's running over the ground into the woods, and a few different places already. Try to coordinate with each other and call and try to get the problems rectified. But other than that, just with him, yes, yeah, it's working out well like that. I mean, we really can't schedule work this time of year. We just deal with what happens, when we get there in the morning. That's about it. So,
what causes the issues of the sewer running?
With in the developments after I said, oh, they didn't have anything hooked up yet, and they got people living there, and the pumps were out of the ground, and the panel boxes weren't complete, or the one that we went to yesterday, they didn't even have the pipes complete in the ground, and it's just flowing and not there. So And then the other issue is power outages. I mean, Friday night, the police department called me one after another, Talked to NICEAG, and they said it was just such a draw on the grid. They were just giving brownouts. So our generators kick on every time. Police department call, have to have somebody come over, make sure everything transfers over or whatever. So just an ongoing saga.
I got a call about that, emergency pump station out there. Did we resolve the issues with that? I know
Yeah, that was this past weekend.
that was just that.
Yeah, they were over there working on it because the generator kicked on there the same way,
Right.
So.
The generator wouldn't shut off, it's special.
Correct.
And that's only, that last year never was actually used. It's
No,
like an
no,
emergency.
it's just bypass. Yeah, so I don't know why the bypass didn't kick on this time. They called up the company that supplied it and everything. So they rectified the problem, supposedly.
Bobby,
I'm gonna walk up. I was gonna say one thing we did fix, I passed it around this by Fallsburg lumber, July 2nd. Called Tom Thompson to come help me out. That's 3/4 line, but that's under 80 pounds of pressure. That's an extremely big leak. We uncovered the leak with the backhaul, which the town needs to invest in a backhaul, which vacuum sucks around the electric wires. We had the water flying over the telephone wires. Long story short, shut the water main down. It took us less than 2 hours to get this thing fixed. Otherwise, I'd have been there for 2 days. Mary, as far as the water, as far as the influence and the rashes, the only thing I can say, my past experience, people change their laundry soap, people change their detergent, and I'm not saying that's the case. Gary Bowers and Woodburn, same thing. He's been there for years. What the hell did you guys do to the water? We didn't do anything to the water. We changed his detergent or his soap. I'm not saying that's the case, but if you let me know the other lady's address, will have the issue, because otherwise it'll be a widespread.
Yes.
Everybody be going like this. Nah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's just my opinion, and that's what we found in the past. Am I saying that? And you're correct as far as quantity, as far as quality for 8, 9 months. And then we start putting in other wells, which we had a pH adjuster to make sure everything's a 7 pH. That goes back to lead and copper, where now people get yellow stains, green stains around the tub or toilet. Well, that brings the pH back up. But that's just my top of my head opinion. And I'm not saying that's set in stone. Like I say, everybody pH is scratching. We had 2 taps done today. I've been working diligently. Like I said, I sent 3 gentlemen a photo of a place at the Friendship, wide open, not a great big line. Friendship's on the cusp of the power, the pressure issue as of last Friday. I'm working diligently. My staff is working diligently not to have that happen. Again, right now I'm at 10.2 feet. It's Tuesday. I am working my butt off, and so is everybody else, walking around these cottages, Friendship cottages. Some of the cottages that I place the bungalows out are not a new development. They have underground facilities. They're not 12-month a year facility. Right now, it's 10.2.
Yeah, but the regular.
30 foot, 32 foot normal. Right now, I'm at 10.2 on a Tuesday. I am working my hiney off. You see how 90 degrees it was today? People don't stop. I don't know if nobody noticed, but traffic has slowed down today. Everybody's sitting in AC. Nobody's out doing anything.
1 foot of water is 40,000 gallons, right?
Yes, depending on the size of the tank. The million gallon tank.
Roughly, so people
Yes.
get an idea, 1 foot of water is 40,000.
Yes, and like last Friday, we were pumping over 1,800 gallons a minute into the system. Like Mike said, I had warned him on Wednesday. I said, the handwriting is on the wall. The higher elevations, it turned out to be a little bit more than I guesstimated. Alpine, Laurel Crest, and I don't want to make this a big long deal because I know people have places to go and people to see. But we are working diligently, and now I have one customer that is really worried about Jason Pantel. He's him and Leo Costello. Well, they have water. We had to bring them up, like I said, a stent from the other building to the other building. So he's worried about pressure and flow. We have to be as a board together because that job is bigger than the town of Fallsburg can handle. It's under a culvert pipe that's as wide as my arms, In the 1995, that culvert pipe was replaced. and not to pat myself on the back, I was working here at that time, and I remember when that pipe got broke. We had a meeting with the town engineer. Said, oh man, let me go check that. And I had photos of water bubbling up this high in the bottom of the culvert. Like you said, we came in on Thursday, we got that shut off diligently. I don't give up easy. I sent my men home at 2 o'clock. 12 o'clock, I called Randy in. We did a couple of Rube Goldberg jobs on a key. We got it. I don't give up easy. I do have a fire hose there looped as an emergency purpose. Because that way I don't have to scramble if something else goes wrong. Pipe is there, hose there. Again, I think 3 days ahead. Right now, I send you guys photos of what I found in Friendship. Ken Ellsworth is coming down on Thursday. I got a message to go to a Friendship, not Friendship, Yellow Shutters. But all those people on that loop of Lover's Lane and La Vista have booster pumps. They suck the water out of the water main. So they're the first ones to go when that tank gets low. And I got guys coming in now. We're trying to manually run the system to get water to the La Vista dry tanks. First time ever, but I got a guy coming in at midnight to shut a valve off, check the charts, check all the gauges, make sure the tanks aren't overflowing, nothing overflows. So if anybody sees a town truck out there at midnight, 11:30, this is what they're doing. They're not out there joyriding, they're not out there hanging out, going to get coffee. They're out there diligently working to get water in that tank. So I do not have another episode like last Friday. Again, we did 2 water taps today, not myself personally, but that company comes in on Zimmerman Estates. They made a 6-inch tap on a 10-inch main. Old Turnpike made a 6-inch tap on an 8-inch main. All the water's going to be shut up, but they're not filling any developments up with it. But the taps had to get done, but we can get them done. The contractors have been diligently trying to get these done for over a month. Tomorrow we're making a 3/4 inch tap on the Vista Drive, which was just blacktop, unfortunately. But just out of my hands, they wanted to do that today at 11 o'clock in the morning. I said, absolutely no way. We're gonna start that at 7 o'clock in the morning and be done by 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. We're not starting it in that heat of the day and having my guys possibly get heat stroke or whatever and stay late. And that's a vital section of pipe right there. That pipe gets broke by the contractor. We are SOL for a quick time. Like you said about Westport Gardens on a Sunday, that has been corrected. That kicked us in the past too with Mount Shodley. Everything's related, and this heat is not helping. I always used to say, unfortunately, cold, nasty, rainy summer helps. People aren't sprinkling their lawn. People went out there and doing a lot of things, but that's just me being me. And you're absolutely correct. It's vital to do improvements as we go along here. This has already been circumnavigating us too long that we're not going to be able to survive. Unfortunately, fire protection, that's my biggest worry. I got the fire chief here in Fallsburg on board. He knows what's in the tank. I got the coordinator on board, who's Jack Halchek for the town of Fallsburg fire coordinator. He's on board. As far as emergency purposes, call on tankers. You have enough water for initial attack, but I cannot put out a fire with 10 feet of water in the tank if it's a bigger structure. A garbage fire, yes. A dumpster fire, yes. Multi-structural family home, if everybody's out, surrounded and drowned, call in tankers. That's my opinion. I'm putting it out there. Anthony Dureski's been helping me out tremendously, black tapping a lot of our water digs that we haven't had time to do. Like you said before, we changed the valve on the Vista Drive on Brickman Road and Laurel Park, hoping that was going to be our culprit. Well, it wasn't, but it was a great thing to get it out. It was a 1993 valve that we had trouble with the prior. Now I got a 2024 valve in there that's going to work for the next 50 years, which is going to help control the system as we work along replacing the system, basically. I've been on board with Ken Ellsworth every day. I can show you photos and pictures I've been sending him back and forth and banging ideas off the head. This is the first time we've ever run into this circumstance where I can't get water out of the old false tank where I got 980,000 gallons of water there. The good news is Mountaindale tank is doing great, the Ann Lang tank. That's 680,000 gallons. Now we have over 800,000 gallons of Mountaindale. Before we had 400,000 gallons. So we do have more storage, we have fire protection, and now we have more water for the developments that are being put in, basically. I said, I can sit here and talk all night about stuff that people probably don't want to hear about, or if they do want to hear about it, we can talk about it outside. But other than that, I hope I answered your questions, Mary. If you get back to me and tell me what those people live in Woodburn that said they're getting dirty water, I may be able to identify some issues. I can rectify some of that. But then we do go from quality to quantity right around the middle of May to June, just to keep everything flowing and functioning. Yes, ma'am.
So I'm just wondering if there are any fire hydrants ever used at this point. It sounds like not. There are always tanks.
I have about 5 fire hydrants out there as far as fighting a fire. Well, Lock Shoulder is good, Woodburn is good, Dapples is good, Mountain Dale is good. South Falls right now is the one that has the headache. And unfortunately, that episode that happened on Friday where they lost water, they weren't the only people that lost water in Sullivan County on Friday and Shabbos. I found that out from a couple other people. Petaluma Road, which is not in the town of Fallsburg, who cares? But there is situations where, unfortunately, people have to go through a Shabbos again without water, and that's not my goal. And my goal is to get through the whole summer. Throw in 4th of July weekend, throw in 80 degrees, 90-degree weather, throw in the whole hoopla that goes along with it. You see the traffic I just mentioned. Yes, and we have been losing power briefly. Woodburn, Hurleyville, just a flicker. When that happens, whoop, I get alarms on my phone. The well went off. The well went off. We scramble to go put the wells back on. It's not just you. Spectrum, I have not had a problem yet, but that's we're not even trying to get there yet. But I'm not gonna keep it long. All right, so if anybody has any more questions, we can talk outside. I'm doing the best I can. I swear to God, my guys are working diligently. Like Mike said, we were out 4th of July. It's not my first 4th of July working, and it probably won't be my last. I take my job seriously, and we're working we're dedicated. So, all right, thank you guys.
You're gonna have to follow that.
All right, we have all our contracted road paving done for the year already. We did 7. We did all our chip sealing from the roads that we paved last year. We chip seal this year to preserve them. We have been doing roadside mowing, ditching, we're changing culverts, patching. Over here on Laurel and Laurel Park, that intersection, that's a DOT engineered intersection. I did meet with Hayden last week, and we did put up a few more signs, but there's not much more we can do with that as far as it's all engineer approved, design. Really, we don't know what more we can do as far as, is it a 3-way stop sign? We don't know. You have to change the town law, So we tried that. I did sit there and watch. When I was waiting for Hayden there was probably 1 out of 30 cars that actually stopped and did it the right way, But whatever. What can you do? The Laurel Park sidewalk is scheduled to be done this week on Thursday, so that'll be done. The delineators are all up. We're waiting on more arrivals to put them up on Hasbrook Drive on the new section there. Waiting on the county to come and stripe Pleasant Valley. That's ready to go. So we got one little patch we got to do now. As all these roads that we did pave this year, any metal pipes, any damaged pipes, culvert pipes, we did change and put new in. So these were with plastic, so they should be good for the next, 20 plus years. That's county delineators, and that's basically all we have.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm gonna clap.
Thank you.
Okay, and now we're done with department head updates. We can have a couple of agenda items. These are pretty straightforward. They're just town board minutes. So number 1, motion to approve town board minutes dated 6/25/24. Motion is second. All in favor? The motion passes. Number two, motion to approve town board minutes dated 7/2/2024.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye, motion passes. Okay, now we move on to our discussion items. First up tonight, we have Cam Inspiration presented by Norman Scott. Norman here.
Yes.
Come on up.
Okay, so. Hi, everyone. I'm glad to be here. I hear that you guys are talking about funding. I've done a lot of, look at your data here. I've done a lot of research on your data, on your waterways. Currently, there's a $20 million grant, EPA grant. When I'm coming into the community, I want to really help children. Your outcome performance scores are really low. The testing scores, the environmental protection agencies in some waterways are hazardous. We purchased a property that actually has clean water, one of the only vulnerable properties that has spring water. I think that we should figure out a way to utilize it to make sure that we sort of communicate with everyone, every constituent that you represent. You represent, it's not that your constituency is large, it's very important. Connected to the waterway, you connect to New York City. It's very important that I have reached out to representatives on a very large representative, state representatives, both here and in New York, who represent New York City. One of the initiatives that we're working on is really important about sustainability. If we go backwards with renewable energy, it just doesn't make sense. You want to build structures, and that's just not work. You have to innovate. And so one of the things that we're working on is a camp, and bringing a camp that really commits ourselves to your constituents and your students. If you look at the data, it's horrific. There's not anyone that should be proud of that. I think it's very important that we look at the person. So one of the things that we're working on is building structure here. I didn't want to build a private property. I've been a transfer student for many years. I work with children. My whole life has been committed. I ran from politics as soon as I got. My whole life has been committed to children and help. So seeing what was happening in the city and looking at your data with the market, with drugs, and they're influencing you. It's important that we have a sustainable structure, a renewable energy structure, solar panels, and that you seek a partnership with us for $20 million. And transparency is important for me. I'm not here to make money. I think it's important that every constituent here knows that it's important that we take care of our children and that we take care of our environment, waterways. You have breakage in your efforts. So I'm connected to a property, as I said before, that directly connects to the EPA grant, the same. And I decided because we have a chance to do that. When it's $20 million and $20 million connected to an environment that deals with the water, it's important that we connect to the sewage system that can funnel in something that economically makes you prosper. The data on young people leaving the communities high, the data on working. So this is a project that really, really stimulates. And I reached out to you, Dr. Yeah, and I think that what I love about what you have done originally with me when I first came, it was originally for a school. I originally came here to fight for a school that really helped your district. If you looked at the data on your district, it was necessary. The diversity of your children. This is not just white children. This is not just black children. This is all of your children are not performing at accountability. So changing that model, we said, let's bring a camp that you can seek federal funding. Your county needs federal funding. And so in this partnership, it's open, right? But I won't have the time because it's easy for me to say, let me try to find a CBO, another CBO, find this grant, seek this money. No, this is a federal grant. This is your money. This is their money. This is their constituency. And it's important we figure out what we do with that clean water. You have a spring water, the only bungalow. This is one of the only recreational.
Where is the property?
It's an old, it's Old Turn Pike Way. And it connects to your sewage system.
Yeah.
But then when I called about your sewage system, it's over flooding. You have issues with your sewage system. Well, $20 million can certainly blast that. Again, transparency, building a community with glass structures, with sustainable structures, clean energy structures, making sure there's more employment in our environment, that the local guys that's building the roads are contracted with you, making sure you take care of your in-house, because it's not cheap. So I think it's important that we fight together, just not me, your constituents. This is your constituency. This man knows about water. When I leave here, I need to talk to him about it, because it's important that whatever we can feed a funnel into the community, that we do it. So, are there any questions for me? And that, because I don't want to. I know I can't top that guy. That guy's a native over here, but I love your energy, because I see that you're fighting for something. Because you need funding.
Oh, amen, brother. There's no doubt about that.
And your schools, why are your children not competing on a national scale? They're getting rocked. Do you know that? That is a real, so I come into your community as an owner. I come into your community to partner with nonprofit organizations. I come into your community to make sure these guys work in, they get employed. I come into your community to range your low performance outcomes. So, you know, there are zero testing data. I'm looking for children. But then I look at one constituency and I look at another and I say, whoa, it's alarming. And I'm not here to draw attention to that larger. You know what's wrong. You know the kids have to compete. And so I want to make sure we give kids here opportunities that relate to the state, and that we employ people on teaching them about drones, sustainability, renewable energy, and clean energy. And we take care of our children in this community, because I didn't want to come here to develop a property and make money. I came here to help kids. Yeah. And to be a part of a community. There's 36 acres, and I think there's an officer I'm interested in taking his property who's currently besides this. But here, is there anything that are there any questions?
So what you're saying is that you obtained the $20 million EPA grant, and you're going to use it to
No, what I'm saying is this, that part of the EPA grant requires a partnership with the town, a CBO. You're a town. And I don't want to go through red tape for things that you're helping your community. This $20 million goes to construction for that. This $20 million construction goes to it's a environmental protection agency. I can send you all the details that we have. And also combined with that, I have partnered with oh, I'm sorry. It's a EPA grant, as I said before, and it requires a partnership with the CEO or a local township, and you qualify. You qualify for this grant because you're in community disarray. This grant could not come to you unless you qualify. You are one of the communities that qualify.
We would partner with the organization.
What you would do is it's a partnership organization. You would fund it for whatever is being developed, is distributed with your knowledge, with your consent, to build something sustainable, renewable for children that deals with a community that's disadvantaged.
So you're confused. You would get a $20 million grant. Would you be looking to use it all towards infrastructure?
No, we would be looking to build roads, to make sure that the waterways clean, to clean the leafage, to clean the molding, to actually clean the environment. See, part of the grant is about earth rehabilitation and renewability and solar power and saving energy. Part of the grant will lead to teaching construction, new way of construction. You're old.
36 acres, how many, I guess, students or campers do you?
Well, the capacity of that holds anywhere between 500, but I don't have that capacity. I want to use it as a recreation facility for all the kids in the town of Fallsburg and the surrounding community, so they can have a tutoring home and they can compete academically. It's also, as an educator, it's developed for that purpose. So it's developed so that we can teach post-secondary people who do not go to college a trade on using drones, a trade on how do we use renewable energy. All of those things are part of renewability. It's part of it.
So by post-secondary, you mean that adults would be the campus?
Adults would also, they wouldn't be in a campus, but they'll be subject to learning alcohol. It's about children, but the adults also benefit because we have a workforce, because we need guys going out there doing solar panels. We need guys going out there checking water supplies. It's a grant, it's free money. And again, as a property owner, I'm deciding to not invest in something private. I'm trying to bring the community into this property because you deserve it. The property sits in a very, very, very rare location, the only spring in the city. So I don't know if you know the guy who works I don't know if you say his name, but he was a water plant operator for over 30 years in the town. And when he sold the property, he explains the validity of that water stream. He's like a early, you know, Earl. Newmark. Yeah, you know that guy? He's a beautiful person. He's a beautiful.
Oh, that's the person who sold it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the only reason why him and I dealt business together, because he has a soul. He's a good man with a good purpose. And we had the same agenda. So I'm here to see what you do about the grant. Whether you apply for the grant or not, it'll be applied for with another CEO. So if you don't accept the money, you don't have control over the project. It's not, doesn't make sense when I'm saying as a community, help your community. I'm offering money to people to control it, to be primary if you want, and I could be statutory. That shows you how important it is to take care of your environment for the kids in the town of Fallsburg. Have you seen the data?
That's the question. First of all, is it a competitive grant?
It's a very competitive grant, and that's why it's important that we have people aligned with us in the
Is
community.
it matching funds and reimbursable?
It's not reimbursable, it's a standing margin. You get 20 million and that 20 million is distributed based on local. So it's just a standing.
So it's not, you don't have to match the funds?
You don't have to match no funds. It's a freebie. You were here for free money. And I'm here to say, hey, look, I can 20 million. I'm scared to tell the town, don't walk away from me, because then who are you really representing? You were here. You're here as representatives of the community. And this is something that represents your community authentically. It's funding. It's funding for your kids. It's funding for the environment. And it's about sustainability. When I die, or when we all go, there has to be science that upholds this. The children of Fallsburg is your future. It's a STEM curriculum that goes in there. It's about engineering. It's about raising your kids to be competitive mathematically. And I don't know the vibe I'm getting here, but I hope that you understand that your scores are horrible. Horrible. Your children are doing horrible. And that is sad. Competitive to other children. And the last thing I think I should say is, I want a letter of intent. So my vision was endorsed by the governor's office. Robert Rodriguez. My vision was already endorsed in my education policy, but I'm not coming back to my education policy. I'm coming back for renewable energy and sustainability to help your community. And like I said, there's not many familiar faces. There was an election, tide change, but I know I was welcome to love the first time. Because my vision was about that. And I will never forget Jennifer, who I probably, she's like, why is this guy calling me so much? I call him because it means that much. And I think you understand, I'm fighting. I'm fighting for something really big. And I don't want to give it to a private company.
When is the grant application due?
It's due in November 24th. And coupled with that, Ben Green has endorsed the school. He's actually not very close to me. And so when it comes here, we plan to build a Ben Art Center and make sure that our kids can come here and connect to the arts and science. It's you need something for kids. You're like, who are you building for? Everyone's running. And the children are running too. The data, I don't even want to expose it because you've seen it. Right? You've seen it. So you know that we're struggling. So I hope that when I leave here, that I will come back to you with letters from very, very big people in New York City. And they will ask you that you unite with them. And I feel they're accountable too. I feel everyone in the federal government is accountable to our kids. Kids in the city aren't doing well. And this is not about color. This is about unions. This is about our children. This is about tomorrow. And tomorrow is energy. So I think I've said enough. I mean, it's brotherhood, sisterhood.
This is 12 months a year, or this is season?
It's a $20 million grant, and it's once we get it, you look at the waterways, we hire local people. And I'm working with one of the building engineers. Our architecture engineer that has worked with me, he's a Ron Science graduate who's worked in Monticello, he's built a lot of structures. He's a genius. He was a genius in school, and he can probably identify things that can help us with the environment, with the water. You need an engineer. And
What did you say his name was?
David Namaka.
Okay. I'm sorry, I can't hear everyone here. Thank you.
His name is David Namaka, and he is already signed with me and ready to go with you, ready to look at water, ready to look at your underground. He's ready to dig. He's ready to help, and we're ready to help your children. So I'm done that.
All right. Next, we have HV Braverman basketball team presented by Jerry Brill. Very good. Yeah.
How's everybody tonight? Yes. First and foremost, I want to thank the board for allowing me an opportunity to bring out a basketball project to the present, especially with the distribution. Congratulations on that. I'm just waiting for my wife to help me to get here. In the meantime, for my coach, Curtis Brock. Curtis has been helping out our basketball team for quite a long time. In summary, we all know, for those that have been raised here for a long time, how rich this area was in basketball. Go back to the 70s, the Maurice Stokes game at Cush's Sports Academy. I represent one of two teams in the ABA, which is the American Basketball Association. The ABA combined with the NBA in the 70s. 24 years later, to get right to the point, a gentleman out in Ohio, Joe Newman, with his daughter Susie, bought the ABA rights from the NBA. Going into this calendar year, there's 180 teams nationwide that operate in the ABA, including a league in Mexico, Canadian division of the ABA, and now Mr. Newman's also working on a female version of the ABA. My wife and I were able to secure one of two franchises here in the Hudson Valley. The other one operates on the other side of the Hudson Valley, the Poughkeepsie team. This team, we have control of 4 or 5 counties. No other ABA franchise can come into Sullivan, Ulster, Greene, Delaware, and I believe Orange County as well. We created the Rivermen several years ago. And it is a men's semi-pro team. We've already had several tryouts, 12 guys on the team. Several have already signed on contracts. Some of them already have played college level. Some have played overseas. It's a great dynamic. We've been practicing, fortunately, not in Fallsburg, but over at the St. John Street Gym in Monticello. The reason why I'm here and the reason why I want to bring new administration come is my wife and I, as well as the coach, we would like to bring our aviators back home. Some of you know I'm a graduate from Central High School. I think it would be a wonderful opportunity to bring our team here to Fallsburg, play at the high school. Not only play our home games at the high school, but to pivot onto what that gentleman was saying, also conduct basketball clinics for our youth, in addition to having clinics for adults as well. The beauty of it is that Naomi and I finance our entire operation. We don't need any fiscal assistance from any department, department head, or anybody from the department. We just need the board's assistance in the form of maybe partnering up, which would then also give us a little more credibility to present this to the school board. We need a gym. For the last couple of years, outside of practicing, Naomi and I have been trying diligently to reach out to different municipalities and bring this project to a basketball gym.
You tried the college, which is also in town.
They're having their own issues. You know, Chris was great several years ago. Then there was a change in the administration. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really ironic that the owner of the ABA, Joe Newman, actually has spent many summers here in Sullivan County. So that gave us a little bit of an edge, trying to get this project off the ground. The ABA is real serious. Like I said, 180 teams that are getting ready to play this coming season, 2024, 2025. I've already had conversations with Dr. Bill Carty, numerous times. He's been very helpful in helping navigate and get our project to this point. But again, without a gymnasium, we're still kind of stuck in the mud. Get to the point where players start questioning the viability of team administration. They start questioning Naomi and myself. Hey, we've been practicing for a year and a half. When are we going to be able to play official ABA games? Our team, as well as the Poughkeepsie team, we participate in the biggest region in the ABA. There's 40, maybe 41 or 42 teams in the Northeast, including Binghamton, which constantly goes to the playoffs. Herkimer, there's a Syracuse team, there's an Albany team, there's a Utica team, Johnson City, and obviously there's teams that operate down in the boroughs. All these teams know about the rich basketball and sports history in the county. My phone is constantly going on, constantly getting emails. Naomi's always taking Facebook private messages. When are you guys going to be able to schedule a game with us? We'd like to come into Sullivan County. Obviously, there's some choice words. They think they're just going to come in here and kick out what. I was going to have some of the guys come tonight. Unfortunately, they had other obligations. They do apologize. They would have loved to have been here. 2 of them are 6'8", big guys. We run a real tight ship, as my coach Curtis would tell you. Any disciplinary issues derived from practice, I tell these guys, you got one more chance. Second chance, you're out. Had any problems at the St. John Street Gym? at all. We've been practicing for about a year and a half, not one problem. Of course, the biggest concern when it comes to municipalities and facility usage is insurance. I carry a year and change worth of liability. It's $2 million policy. It's a sports rate policy. It also covers the players. Fallsburg town and the schools already listed on this policy. If needed, I can get copies. We really would like, since I am a resident, I live right down the road, I graduated. This is where we live. Naomi and I are here. I think it would be ultra dynamic to bring the ABA to Fallsburg. Not only play our home games, like I said, but also conduct clinics for these kids. Because we all know there's not too much going on here, especially in our backyard. And it's such a viable, entertaining form of affordable action that we all know residents from other municipalities will come here. Like I said, we've been at this for 3 years. You know, I don't want to go anyplace else. I don't want to pitch this to Orange County Community College. I don't want to pitch this to Ulster County Community College, even though sometimes they, they'll inquire, hey, would you like to bring your action over here? Nah, my alliance is, I've been here with some of you guys. I've been here forever. I have no intention of going anywhere.
Have you approached this school on your own yet? Because I love the idea, but the town doesn't have a gymnasium, and we often sometimes hit a wall, for our needs with the school. So
I think the proper course of action is somehow town and my basketball team can team up. I think that would, again, add a lot more credibility. In other words, town in unison with the Hudson Valley Rivermen would be doing this collectively as one project. I think that would definitely add credibility when we do approach, the Fallsburg High School. And again, we don't need any money. I'm not here begging for dollars. I'm not here begging for cents. We don't need anything. We just need a gym. I mean, obviously, I'm sure there might be a few small fees, custodial, maybe one guard. But the ABA is not that type of project or product that brings that kind of element. Everybody wants to get involved in basketball. Basketball is like one of the fastest growing sports worldwide. I mean, you just turn on the TV from LeBron all the way down to the NBA draft. We've got a good team. We've got a real good team. I'm blessed to have a great coach. I've known Coach Brock for about 15 years now, and he's really good at X's and O's, and the guys really listen to him. So and again, I think this product would work wonders here in this town. I really do. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if residents from Middletown would take the drive, Newburgh would take the drive. I know Newburgh, so I'm pretty sure it's Torrance, Mayor Hall. Liberty, Monticello, it's basketball. Everybody loves basketball. So,
I mean, are you really looking for like a letter of support that you could bring to the school, or what?
I think that would definitely. Or, if we have to table another work session, where we can really go into the nuts and bolts of what we're trying to do collectively. Like I said, if the town and maybe the Rivermen, my squad, would team up, we would present this as a unified product, to the school. And I don't really foresee the school district saying no. They don't. Again, we're not asking you for anything. Nothing. Naomi and I are well funded. We take care of what we need. But again, insurance. I wouldn't walk in here or ask for leave without a policy. I'd look like a complete moron.
Okay, so you don't need any kind of funding, the school charged, a fee to use the court, you'd be able to cover that?
If the fee, obviously, this would be the first season that we would be playing competitive ABA ball. So I would probably have to, look at the fees that they charge, and ask for some type of a discount, especially if the town and the Rivermen are going to team up together.
Okay, because that's what I'm trying to ask, what would be the commitment on the monetary commitment estimated on?
I do believe, I have a usage facility form, and there is a section where we actually do take into consideration waive the fees. I mean, it's something that we can.
From Fallsburg?
Yeah.
So have you approached like Greco, the business manager?
When I spoke to Dan several weeks ago, he kind of was in the dark. He didn't really know what was going on. He didn't know the purpose of what we were trying to do. We did indicate, we won't win the next basketball team, that we have here at County, especially in Fallsburg. We have great players of company, our doors, that.
Well, been to a lot of great games.
Yeah, fabulous games. I think it's a win-win situation, especially if we don't need it. We don't need any. I'm not here looking for any type of funding. There's no partnership.
Carve out for fees?
Yeah.
Oh, it's free then.
Have to be a clear partnership, but there's an absolute carve out for the town.
So these games, if we were able to figure this all out, got to the point where you're having games, ticket sales, revenue that's generated from that.
I would, it's to the point that we want to get this product off the ground.
What I'm saying is there ticket sales, are the games free for people to attend? Or
if it has to be free to get it going, I'm okay with it.
These other teams they mentioned, these other cities, what does it look like for their
games? Binghamton, Jimmy Evans, the owner of the team, was fortunate enough where he was able to construct his own venue, which holds 3,000.
And the games are well attended.
Sold out.
Really?
Sold out. Parking lot. Scott, the owner, is in the Guinness Book of World Records. He's a human computer. You throw a figure at him, I've never seen anything like that. So, this is some real competitive ball. This is a real competitive ball. And, it's funny is like when I speak to these other teams, like Coach Sean Pratt from Bennington, Vermont, these guys, one point or another, growing up, have spent a summer. They spent a summer. So they know about. Yeah, Coach, if you can just grab it. So again, I'm getting calls, I'm getting emails left and right. These, owners of the teams, they're very enthusiastic. They want to come, and they want to play us, and probably stay the night at one of the hotels. The Rochester and Buffalo team, they're not just going to drive 5 or 6 hours, play a game at the high school for 3 hours and go home. These guys are going to spend some money. That's also another, that's a spin-off. That's definitely a positive. Oh, that's my wife. So that's why we're here tonight.
You have copies of that. We can take a look at it. Can we make a copy of it?
Yes. You get the back.
Yes, you can make a copy of it.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Curtis Plowley. Assistant Gary, Mr. Me on the team. This is a win-win situation for Sullivan, specifically Fallsburg. Don't drop the ball on this one here, please. Don't sit on your hands because it's going to eventually happen. Don't let Tri-Valley get it first. Don't let Eldred get it up there, Sullivan West, all these different places. Like I said, I'm a taxpayer. I've been here for 30 years. I love children. So even though these men are older, but I have older children. Our oldest son is 43. So these men here is 21, 25, and all that stuff like that. I love working with children, especially guys, because they need the help big time. Like this man presented, the children need this. And this is a win-win situation. So please let Fallsburg be the forward thinkers on this here, not some other municipality. So somebody gonna pitch in and say, okay, no, we heard about you. Come this way, come this way. You know, I love it up here. Tax is kind of high, but you know, I love it. But at the same time, I'm staying. I've been here 30 years. My children are all grown. I got 8 grandchildren. So please let us be able to get that letter. We need it. We need a gem. Basketball is global. It has no skin color. It has no religious denomination. It's basketball. And these kids really need it. And the community will be able to venture in with this big time. That's the key to this hit. That would also help put Sullivan County on the map or be the forward thinkers. So I just want to say thank you for my little bit of time.
Just, I want to say, because I love it. I just want you to know that I'm also part of the so you're looking for this, but I'm zoned to go to recreation. There are nonprofits that want to go. It should go immediately for what you're doing. We're talking about the youth. I believe that's where it's directed. You should move out both. You have someone coming in more that wants. I would love to partner collectively with the water guy. That's what it really is. Really, on both.
I mean, you know, I mean, but listen, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Coach. You know, Fallsburg has a great sports history. I mean, Arnold from Park and Recreation, you know, I already talked to him about things, you know, we've had some elite athletes, you know, elite athletes come through Fallsburg. You know, it's so rich in history. I mean, I'm not a basketball guy per se. I've always played ice hockey. But, you know, when I think back, you know, going to Kutcher Sports Academy, you know, Maurice Stokes came. And then, you know, years later in the early 80s, watching Joe Patton and Maurice Martin from Liberty went on to play in the NBA. Those games were complete. That was chaos. It was crazy. It was great. I mean, living in Fallsburg, Monticello, you remember. This is a wonderful opportunity. Brings the NBA here. I would love it. Nothing more than bringing our home games to the community to play at high school. So, you know, like I said, Naomi and I, we've been at this for several years now. You know, for some reason, Mr. Newman and his daughter Susie must really like us because I've seen teams come and go, you know, within a matter of a year or two if they don't lock in a facility. You know, so it's probably the conversation, you know, Naomi has with Susie to, you know, Spring Valley people. But
Yes.
yeah.
The Rockland County is the Southern County. It's time that we go over that with just extra activities, recreation activities for the youth. It's great for adults. Just with these clinics and things that we're going to implement, we're trying to also build community support and involved with the residents who are in their backyard. What a great way to have support with the community and our organization, with the players, and just giving you guys a great time of entertainment and something positive for the community to do. I mean, there's just limited resources and extracurricular activities for you to actually go and do a thing, and why not give them something that's good and positive, something that's right? Change is good, but it's the right kind of change. Reformation. I believe in traditional things, but things being changed for what it was always meant to be. And just giving the youth and the community something to do.
Obviously, she's a lot more sure. Are there, you know, questions? Yes.
So let's see a letter from the town saying that they're on board. The school board says fine, it's good. If the school board says no, then you have to go to try down.
Or the college.
Oh, I understand, but I'm saying, so your speech is very good and it's point taken. But if the school says, the Board of Education says, we don't want you there, then it's a good point. If the town wants people. Not gonna cost you that.
Yeah.
So if you just want to let us say, yeah, we're on board with Gary and we think it's a great idea, bring that to the school board. And the school board says, fine, it's fine. They say no, they go to college or elementary or wherever else you go.
We don't want to go anywhere else.
Right, I understand.
You know,
But the fact of the matter is, you're 100% for you. We have not, it's all up to the school.
Absolutely.
If the school says no, then it's a new point. You have to go to.
You're absolutely right.
You just got stuck here. Right.
We hope that our backyard can support
Well,
us.
I
The
agree.
natives, right?
You have a question?
I do, what's the worst case scenario? The school says no. Do you have funding to renovate an existing gym? Someplace in the town of Fallsburg?
That was brought up to me, I actually put that on the back burner. My whole agenda really was to present the product and project to the town first, see an agreement where we're both doing this project together, and then pitching it to the high school. We've been approached before. Again, this is more important.
Just thinking contingency.
Listen, it's a great contingency backup there.
Any more questions?
Any other questions?
I have a state, and I know there's state funding for that, and for town funding. And if this is something that's needed in this community, let's need, well, these are nonprofit organization, but it would have to align with the architecture contract, right? But that's something that you can done easily.
Oh, no, I appreciate it.
So I don't know. I keep hearing people complain about order. About certain things, and I think that we have to deal together as representatives, you know, because I hear their voices, whether they can figure it out. I want to have, and if there's link, there's funding available to build.
No, the board would have to appropriate for any of these issues. So,
But you have a standing budget. Is that correct?
sorry,
You have a standing budget to appropriate funding.
we have a budget that was passed for the 2024 year that did not have any money allocated for this project. We need to appropriate those funds for this upcoming 2025.
And that's why that so that I so that we can move in that direction to have something in Fallsburg that needs, because I don't know, I'm reading about energy.
I'll say something, yeah.
Let me just interrupt you 1 second. That's the beauty of what we're trying to do. Is why I'm here to present this product to you. We don't need it. We just need the town to hop on with us. It gives us added credibility presented to the high school. And I think if we did this in a partnership, I just don't see the high school saying no, especially if it costs zero. And when I tell you it costs zero, it costs zero. Like I said, Naomi and I are welcome. You know, we just need political support to get this product.
Did you learn anything good in school board?
Then get back. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, last discussion item on the agenda is Genesis LED and Energy Associates Incorporated, presented by Andy Cabarrells.
No, you don't need to keep that. I'll read it with this guy.
Oh.
That's all.
Better than I could have done.
And even you're-
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I think it was late last year, I was contacted to give some information about EV chargers for the community. By Dr. Sean Harvey, and we did a site visit, and we wound up looking at 6 different locations to possibly place 4 chargers at each location, so that people in the community, people driving past the community, can stop and charge their electric vehicles. Obviously, we all know that the electric vehicles are here to stay. Pros and cons to it, but they're here to stay, and they're actually a good thing for the environment. They're a good thing for, especially long term. So, with that being said, our company specifically, work on designing the layout and everything, and providing you the resources to be able to get it for as little to no money as possible. And right now, because you're in a disadvantaged community zone, the funding with NYSERDA and NYSEG, which is a combination of infrastructure and equipment, you can actually get the chargers, and that's the goal, is to get it with no cost out of pocket for the community. So, I mean, it's a detailed proposal, and I'm sure we're not going to go through it, but you can read it all later.
These would be for a charge, like you would have to pay a fee to use them?
Yeah.
So what is the fee if I come here?
Typically on level 2 charge, 35 cents a kilowatt. But and everybody's paying that everywhere they go for charge.
Out of curiosity, and I know nothing, very little about EVs. I come here with my car, I'm at 10%. I want to charge it while I'm looking at it. Yeah, what is it? Like, what's the fee? If I charge
well,
I'm here for an hour. So
we're looking at level 2s, which is going to be for a longer term charging session. Okay, level 3s, which are for the fast chargers, you see on the highways and stuff, you see the superchargers for the Tesla.
Right.
Okay, those are typically in 60 minutes, you're going to get from 10% to 80%.
So what about it?
So with these, you're looking at getting about 30 miles per hour into the car. So what it's good for is people that are going to be going, maybe it's to the park, or if they're going, in the shopping, there's a municipal parking lot here, and they're doing their thing.
They'll be there for a few hours.
And they'll be there an hour or 2.
So you're there for 2 hours, you're getting 60 miles. What's that fee guesstimate? Just curious.
A couple dollars, $3, whatever. Okay. So, but what happens is that the end result is, you'll get more people that will travel. They may come and stop and use your community more. But the big thing is,
if you're in like a Tesla, for example, this will be on their map to say, hey, you go there and charge. So they might be
everything is within it. So between Department of Energy, it points people, we're going to find a charge. So on the 6 sites that we looked at, I have to look at the names, but it was the Senior Center, Landhouse Municipal, the Building Department, Terry Gray, Morningside Park, and Baltimore Golf. So the way it's designed, the whole project, I mean, numbers are what they are. About 241,000, and all of that would be covered by the incentive that we're going to apply for through the Make Ready and Ready programs. And what we do is we do the application process, and we get the commitment from them, so we know there's no mystery as far as dollar amounts, because there's a lot of loopholes and things that they don't want us to jump through. So we make sure that everything's lined up so that we're quoting you exactly. And that's the big part of it. But then you're gonna have something so it's sustainable. You'll have the chargers in place, and
at 0 cost.
At 0
cost.
Whoever's using it's paying for it. So you're roughly, and I don't know your bills. I haven't seen your electric bills. You probably pay maybe about 15 cents or so
18 cents, depending, 20 cents maybe a kilowatt. So you're charging 35 cents. There is, for the software company to help offset the cost of what they develop, they take a percentage of that, and that all has to be worked out. But, and then you get a piece of it too.
Is what you would get your.
So you would get over and above what you're already charging. So you're never gonna lose, you're never gonna be negative. Because there are fees involved, but the customers technically pay. So when they plug in their car and that 35 cents, that's covering
The fees and the electric.
Right.
When I was reading the agreement 6 months ago, and at the time it was more expensive, it was like 50 cents a kilowatt hour.
That's the 40, we just did it at 35, because that's been like the average for the level 2%. Well, you can make it 40.
So in that agreement, it said that the company owned the revenue for the first 5 years, and after 5 years, the town would own it and then be able to keep the revenue active.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Who maintains?
Well, there's a 3-year warranty on the equipment. The software, you get 5 years coverage from the software because that's part of the package. So all the management of the operation of them is from the software company. Included with that also is the fact that you have to do quarterly reporting to NYSERDA and NYSEG, and they take care of all that too. So you don't have to worry about.
So in the gap between 3 and 5 years, will the town cover the maintenance and repairs?
Yeah, if there's anything needed after that, yeah. But honestly, they're designed to run 10 years.
And you said that there would be no cost to the town.
Right.
Right, but I believe the agreement said that the town would be responsible for putting in all the electric services at the location.
No, that's part of it.
That part?
Yeah, that's part of it. So there's, I think, 1 or 2 sites where I think we have to request some additional power. And we take care of that. We work with NYSEG, we put the work request in. That's one of the pieces that could be a mystery. I don't see them bringing in a power pole. So, but typically when they have to bring in a power pole, there may be a construction cost involved, and that could be extra. You know, it could be $1,000.
What site were you concerned about that?
I wish my
Okay.
yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember which one it was. It may have been.
Now the golf course. The golf course used to have electric carts and we have gas now, so we have plenty of extra service.
Yeah, I just remember there was that one. Was an open? I think it was a park.
Morningside.
Yeah.
And we drove past it, and there wasn't anything there. It was a thought process about it. I remember.
And maybe after.
I remember.
Maybe the building department too.
Why would you put one at the building department?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
There's not even parking there for the.
Yeah.
10 years has been very long. Who replaces them after 10 years?
3 years, you would.
No, he said they usually last.
They'll
10
last,
years.
yeah, they'll typically last. But then at that point, it could be another technologies too.
No.
My understanding is New York State and NYSERDA has recently changed their programs, so it's not profitable to do anymore. Is this your agreement based on the recent changes or prior to that?
It's current.
It's not profitable, especially I don't know about municipalities, but for the private sector, that I know people that we were going to do it, that we are canceling their plans to do it.
Because of what?
Why? Because it was a private business looking to do it, and they were doing it for a revenue source for their business. And after the state and I started to change their plans, there was no revenue stream for them who wanted to do it.
The state, NYSERDA doesn't care about revenue stream.
No, but the person doing it does.
Right. And that's the whole thing. You're not looking at this as a revenue generator. You're not going to make millions of dollars and offset your tax base. Okay.
You're just going to provide a service.
You're going to provide a service, and you're going to provide the convenience to the fact that you do have chargers there. And because I mean, there's nothing around, but, you know, and you don't have to do all those sites. But you know, we could say,
Are you?
no, they did.
And somebody who borrowed money for
Well, the incentives are still there. That hasn't changed.
By the returning money.
I imagine that is part of the project and the incentive right there that you.
Yeah, and yeah, the only risk there could be on no incentives would be NYSERD. Okay, they don't tell us what the fund's status is. We need to apply. And what I do know is that they're heavily weighted to provide to municipalities over a private entity. And especially in a disadvantaged community. So even if there is, because I mean, I had a recent conversation with NYSEG, because like Orange and Rockland utilities, Con Ed, they've used up all their money. So maybe that's what you're talking about, and that could be true.
Any other questions? Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much for presenting.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's the end of our discussion items. With that, accept a motion to go to executive session to discuss potential litigation and personnel matters as well as general business.
Second.
All in favor?
Joey.
Excuse me, you guys just, came into your presentation of the legislature. No.
Can you come up here? Legislative, did you want to present like?
You look great.
Hello, guys. So a couple things in the county, like today, for instance, the rails and trails, I know we have a shortfall of about $500,000. And we've had a discussion today, which the county's gonna be putting the difference, because we didn't get that last grant to finish the tunnel, so the county, I think, is going to look at the bill and finish the project. I mean, we've gone this far with it, so you know, we're gonna bite the bullet and finish that as number one. Number two is we passed a major EMS package for the whole county. We'll be supplying, well, it's a company who will be supplying ALS and DLS vehicles, 4 vehicles every 6 hours. It'd be a 24-hour period. So there'll always be 4 cars on the road, which would be initial assist to the patient until the ambulance gets there. Sometimes if the ambulance gets there first, that's fine. They'll cover the case. Those people go back in service again, but we're doing that. That'll probably happen the first of the year. And also the biggest thing that we'd be looking to do is waste energy in the county. We have an issue with garbage. You might have seen the video. Me and Nadia did a little video, and we went to go visit the plant. It's pretty amazing how it operates. Like I said in the video, there was no smell, there was no odors. You don't smell the garbage. It's a positive pressure facility that sucks all the air into the facility. It turns the turbines by steam. It makes energy in this plant. If we get it to be big enough, we'll power the whole county at a reduced rate in electricity. But we will have to import garbage from Orange County or wherever. But the county will make money, we'll get energy, and we'll solve our own problems. Because Seneca Meadows is going to be closing, or maybe getting an extension for another cell. They don't know, we don't know, but they're willing to take out garbage and send it to Virginia on trains, which would be an additional cost. So it can be a burden to everybody. So we're researching it out. We're sending an RFI out or RFQ out next month. And we'll start getting, there's only 2 vendors that do that in New York State. One is Cavanta, which is called Real World now, I think they call themselves. And the other company, I forgot their name, but they'll come in, they'll approach us, they'll tell us what we're going to offer. We get a reduced rate in getting rid of the waste. And we can charge more for it from other counties, and it could offset up.
What's the location?
It should be at the landfill. That's the place where not like the landfill. We have a facility there now. And if we run out of juice, we can dig into the old landfill and use whatever's left in that landfill also. So there's those other options we have. And we also extended our Blue Sullivan County. It goes into Coshecton, Calico now, up in the woods and back into the metropolitan area. So, and there's other things happening too, but our fund is, I was painting tonight, so that's all I got.
All right, with that, we are adjourned.